Logan, my first question for you is, can you talk about how Sonic Prime got started? Did Sega come to you? Did you go to Sega? Talk about this series inception.
Yeah, well, Sega was in a development phase with Man of Action originally. So it was Man of Action that originally came up with the concept for Sonic Prime, and they brought us in, I'd say about halfway through development. So the general concept of Sonic Prime was in place, but we really helped flesh it out and bring many layers to the story, and also help them understand how to fit this into a serialized narrative that would fit into something that would work for Netflix. And that really became, the goal as we came on board, was to bring Netflix to the table and understand how to tailor the storytelling to work for service and Sonic as a character and as a brand and as a property.
You're no stranger to animation and TV. Now, working for a streaming service like Netflix, does that come with advantages or disadvantages? Is that easier for you to make a show when it's not on broadcast television, on a Thursday night or whatnot?
Yeah, certainly. Netflix is an amazing partner, and they truly care about the creative integrity of the property. And not only that, they bring a wealth of experience and creative chops to the table at the same time. So the collaboration between Sega, WildBrain, and Netflix was just so valuable and allowed us to really dig into the creative. And from the Sega side, understand what the mythology demands and find ways to, take the story on unexpected turns and twists that will keep audiences at Netflix around the world, engaged and intrigued and hooked on the storyline and connected to Sonic as a character through the emotional layers that we've added to the story. So it was just an amazing experience, honestly, to be working with such great partners and such an amazing collaborative experience.
And then Logan, talk about, like, in television, we've seen kind of a fast shift to 3D. I just want to get your professional opinion about the state of 3D animation in specifically television, and if you think 2D animation still has its place or if it'll still be around 10 years, 20 years from now.
Absolutely. We produce both CG and 2D animation at WildBrain Studios, and honestly, the lines are blurring between the two mediums, and when we approach a piece of creative, we typically try to leave the medium out of it and just purely analyze the creative for what it is, and then use the tools as best designed. But what I can tell you is 2D animation still offers a ton of innovation and charm and aesthetic and design that we love and appreciate, and it will never go away at WildBrain Studios. It's definitely something we're continuing to invest in. It's very important for us that we push both mediums, CG and 2D. We find ways to bring them together and harness the best of what both mediums offer, and it's just something we love, and we would never discount what 2D animation brings to the table.
Sonic Prime is a world about, like, it's almost like a Days of Future Past kind of story arc where Sonic goes to multiple universes where he didn't exist or some kind of strange thing happened. Was that already kind of, you said this was already in development when you brought on, was that already kind of cemented in stone when you were brought on?
Yeah, that general concept that, Sonic enters a multiverse and is searching for a way back home, and it's a world that exists without his friends and without him in it at the same time. Was kind of already on the table, and we brought many layers and helped shape the storytelling and drive the narrative. But those elements were kind of already in place in terms of what Sega and Man of Action had been collaborating on. And what's kind of fascinating about it is, like, Sonic gets to see firsthand what the world is like without him in it. He sees the direct, cause and effect of a world that doesn't have a hero, that doesn't have Sonic there to protect his friends or protect the land, and he gets a real look in the mirror in terms of, like, his effect on the world and what he can do as a person to make it even better. So those were kind of some of the things that we brought to the table as we helped flesh out the concept.
Yeah, speaking to that, you did include Shadow, who's kind of been, he had his time in Sonic Adventure 2, and he's a beloved character, and you finally brought him back for the show, Logan. Like, what was that process like? Was he already in the show when you came on as well?
Yeah, there was always a desire to incorporate Shadow from the very beginning, and Shadow's a very tricky character in terms of how we represent him and his storyline and his characterization. And I can tell you, Team Sonic and Sega were all over it, and we got such amazing feedback from them to ensure that his relationship with Sonic and the way he is portrayed is very faithful and on point to how it's always existed in the mythology.
Well, he is the ultimate life form, or so he says. So
Indeed, and he does many times in the series.
Can you talk about how does Netflix rate a show as a success? For 50 years, it's been Nielsen ratings, right? How many people were watching the show on Thursday nights, or an occasion of cable, how many toys sell for the franchise? How can we get more Sonic Prime? How can we support this show and keep it continuing to have other Sonic projects in the future for Man of Action?
That I don't know. I don't know how the rating system works at Netflix, but you could support the show most certainly by watching it on Netflix and supporting it however you can. I can tell you we would love to bring more Sonic Prime to the world in the future. We had so much fun making this show, and we truly feel like it is something unique, and we would absolutely love to make more of it.